through a mysterious gate and the town lives in a parallel dimension.
I
That's
always
really nice.
install those mods that combine Freeside and New Vegas into two full areas rather than separating those doors, which was an Xbox 360 limitation, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
And that's all I do. But them being separate is fine. Like I was kind of fine having to go into the wall to get into some of the towns in Outer Worlds. It was like, now we're going to go to the universe. It's like, it's one space station in a small town. I'm like, what?
Yeah, I think the big mistake of the Outer Worlds was selling it as this big, epic sci-fi exploration adventure when the gameplay wasn't that.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't... Like, I think you go into a sci-fi game where, you know, the opening screen is literally a space station. The music is this grand epic... Ba-da-da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, I know what we're in for now. We're going for this grand epic explorer, aren't we? It's like, no. You're going to explore the park. An area slightly smaller than fucking Finsbury Park with some shacks in the middle of it, and that's a planet. That's the fucking planet, mate.
And it was... they weren't even that densely packed. Those areas.
No, they were not. They were not that densely packed at all.
Like,
it felt it was small, and even for the size of it, it was not dense.
Well, you went from what, that initial area, that very first town, is what's it called? Very first town.
Not Monarch. The one that's not Monarch.
Whatever, that one where you do this sort of tutorial thing. And you go outside the town, you have to walk from sort of village up the road, and that entire walk is just like empty.
Yeah, there's some mysterious humans who, just decide they're going to be raiders and attack you on sight 'cause they're dicks. Yeah.
That's it. That's the whole game.
Yeah.
I'm excited for the next one because I feel like maybe now they've got the engine.
Hopefully they'll step it up a bit.
Well, oh god.
Like I think the Outer Worlds was fun to play once, but I've never even remotely considered going back to play it the second time.
I played it again, and the second time I played it was because the speedrun strategy you can use where you can finish the game in 10 minutes. Which I
did you play the DLC? Because the sci-fi, almost vaguely old world bluesy DLC where you go to the science meteorite was okay.
I did, because I kind of forgot it came out, realised I owned it. Went final, give it a go, played the whole thing, was kind of waiting for some. Like I was playing it and waiting for it to grab me, and then it ended, and I went, oh. Because it's just like rocks, and I'm like.
I mean, it didn't help that literally during the opening of that section, you sit down and you're like, yes, I need you to go down. My mother's asteroid, my poor dead mother who died under mysterious circumstances where we never found the body. Yes, her asteroid. You'd better go down there. Oh no, there's a mysterious person causing trouble on my poor dead mother's asteroid. My absent dead mother who's definitely dead. Who is this mysterious person who's causing trouble? Okay, yeah, her fine. And I was thinking, okay, it can't possibly be that obvious. There's going to be a twist because everyone's expecting it to be the dead mother, so it can't possibly. Oh, it's okay.
Yeah, it's a bit very surface level. Also, I mean that when you go into that initial mansion on that DLC.
Yeah.
For those who haven't played it, you go to like a mansion thing and the whole dead mother asteroid thing, and then you get sent down to the mining asteroid and you explore the mining asteroid. The mining asteroid
and there's some fun, and it is at least less just a circle of land where you could just walk. Like the canyons and whatnot make it a bit more interesting to explore.
But it's still just a desolate rock. I mean, it's literally a mining asteroid. It is a desolate rock by its very nature. And when I entered that initial mansion, I was like, ooh, I hear it's like a bit of a mystery thing, right? And it was sold as a bit of a mystery. I'm like, ooh, am I going to do a murder mystery in a mansion?
Yeah.
Because I would have happily spent the entire of that DLC in the mansion just talking to people. Just put one guy in the mansion, you leave. You're like, oh. Like, I want that Hitman 3 level
you need to sit down and play Oblivion, because Oblivion, you do shit like you get to town
love Oblivion.
and you get told shit like, hey, there's that murder mystery, solve that.
I love Oblivion. It's one of those games that I think is okay. You know when you tell people to go back and play an older game, and it's just Oblivion is that point for me where it's so clunky. Age-wise.
Disagree. I think Morrowind, you're bordering on it, and you need to mod it a little bit for a better quality of life. I think Oblivion has aged like fine wine.
I think New Vegas hits the category.
Lol. Say that again.
Well, no, because
I think New Vegas has aged like a fine milk. I had to install 400 mods to make it work, and it still ran like an absolute dog shit. Awful.
Probably because you installed 400 mods without really knowing much about the game.
Oh,
he installed 10 mods.
Matt did it for me.
Made him install 10 mods. There's like some texture mods and some, the stability mods and the patch mods.
was awful. I hated everything about it. Oblivion's great though. Oblivion is held up.
But it's still got that kind of clunkiness, and you really need to mod the UI a bit to make it work properly. You still need to get the patch mods and stuff like. Well, actually, Fallout 4 announced they're doing a next gen version, aren't they? Where they're actually going to fix bugs.
I know it's dumb, but I'm kind of excited for that because I would have been incredibly cynical and uninterested, but they did that for Skyrim recently. And some of the stuff they added in was actually kind of fun and chunky.
They're gonna add fishing to Fallout 4.
The fishing! The fucking fishing! That I played for like 8 hours and I still wasn't done. And it wasn't just like, you know, hey, just walk up to water and you can fish. I was like, no, fuck it. You've got to know the right sort of bait and the right sort of water and calculate what counts as water that's flowing fast.
Right.
What's the temperature of the water, fucker? You can't catch a sunfish when it's raining, you stupid piece of shit.
Yeah, no other game has done fishing.
I mean, that sounds boring as shit to me. That's my Persona 5 for you.
This was bafflingly detailed fishing. This was bafflingly detailed fishing. And it fit into, you know, the alchemy system a little bit. So it kind of integrated into the system.
I'm a little confused about what's in this upgrade. They just said graphical improvements, but they've also said the update's coming to PC. And I'm like, well, is it something like, you know, in Skyrim Remastered, they were like, oh, we've added fancier lighting or something.
It's probably just going to be an HD texture pack or something. It's probably going to upgrade. In fact, PC already has high resolution texture pack. It's free DLC for Fallout 4.
I want them to fucking patch the game so it doesn't crash if you turn on the physics fucking bullshit.
Probably, yes. Hopefully they'll do something like that. But
no,
I suspect...
But it's Bethesda. They won't. They'll add
they don't need to.
all
Mod
the textures in the world, but they will... No, that, even with a mod, it just makes it not crash. It doesn't make physics work. It just makes it not crash. It's a piece of shit. And the amount of... Honest to fuck... Skyrim, right? So Daniel knows this, because he played Skyrim on the Switch. And the game bugged, and he couldn't continue.
Yeah, if I go... I'm on, like, one of the Civil War quests. But if I go to a massive area of the map now, the whole game just shuts down.
And it's like, but they leave. It's why I get so fucking annoyed at Bethesda releasing Skyrim so much. Charging full price, they're still charging 55 quid for the public. And leaving all the bugs in!
See, this is why I play everything on PC. Because if something goes wrong, I can just model console commands to fix
I cannot believe that you did a lot of your original core.
I didn't have an original I didn't have a PC.
No, I know, but it still sounds like the worst time. Like I'm amazed that you could stand it. Is all I mean by that. Like
I didn't know what I was missing. I didn't know any better.
Yeah, but I suppose on the Steam Deck you can mod them. I used to play Fallout 4 mod them.
No, Persona 4 and Marvel Snap taken all my time. I did play briefly yesterday.
Those
I did
two
have a go.
intensive games.
I don't have a lot of time. I'm finishing the book, man. This is the last. Like, this is the last sprint of it, so it's just book time. And I'm regularly streaming now. Whoa, go me. Whoa, go me. Yes, finally. Also, I played Vice City Definitive Edition yesterday. For the first time.
I've been meaning to play Vice City for the first time, given we now know that's where the next GTA is going to be.
Don't play the Definitive Edition.
Don't play the Definitive Edition, John, because even now, because it's free on PS5, so it's like...
That's fine, I don't own a PS5.
I was like, free's good, I'll do a little stream of that. So I tried it, it's still fucking broken as shit. From warping through walls and shit that was super easy to just trigger by. Except every time I got out of a car that was burning, the car would just freeze, its physics would just stop. Lampposts have huge, bizarre, weird physics. So if you hit a lamppost, it might just catapult you miles into the distance. Also,
that sounds like a good thing to me. That sounds like the sort of jank I want out of my games.
Yeah, but that's the kind of jank I'd accept out of like a Saints Row, but not Vice City.
There's a weird thing with them as well, because the other day I downloaded San Andreas on the Switch again, because they basically did that big patch like a couple of weeks after it initially released, but they hadn't patched it until like a week ago. And they patched it again and they went, ooh, let's go. Maybe I'll run it 60 because why wouldn't Vice City, even with fancier graphics, not be able to? If Kirby's new Fancy Boy game can run at 60, then Vice City can. But no. Somehow the most recent patch, I feel like it's running worse now. Which is actually incredible.
Oh no, the 13 remastered devs strike again.
It has that amount of care and attention put into it. Ridiculous. All they needed to do on the Switch was go, hey, we've up-res the UI, and we've made it work on the Switch. And I would have been, well, that would have been it. I didn't need anything else.
This is what I literally ended up doing with 13, by the way. After they attempted to remaster it twice and it kept getting worse, I just basically looked up a quick guide on modding it and basically found the 2 INI files that are needed and changed the resolution of the original 13, available for £3 on Steam, to 1080p by typing, you know, 1920 and 1080 into one text file. And then they just increased the FOV by 15 points in a different INI file, and it works. It's beautiful.
I
It
cannot
plays
believe
fine.
they tried twice.
And this was not a joke. Like, people genuinely, like, we've got to say, actually, I bought the remastered, I played it, I've tried your version, yours is better.
For those who don't know, by the way, the 13...
The John remastered version is the superior way to play 13.
13 is kind of a popular older game that was kind of a bit of a cult classic more than anything.
Oh fuck! It's so much more than that. It's a fucking incredible.
No, it is.
game.
It is. But that's what I'm saying. There's this big community behind it who really just love that
It's
game.
like Beyond Good and Evil. They came out about the same time.
Yeah.
And in my head, they're the 2 games that I had that no one else had on their PS2.
But that's
And I was like,
exactly
you
what I
have
mean.
to play these fucking
but
I
things.
think, yeah, it's one of the best shooters of that generation. I'd say, like,
absolutely.
Time Splitters franchise is there, 13 is there.
Yeah.
But a lot of people didn't play it from that gen. And,
No.
it, you know, being re-released on modern stuff with a bit of a, you know, up-res, good idea in concept. And they released it, and it was a fucking absolute visual mess. I mean, both you and Daniel have done videos on it.
Oh, the original is like, it's cel-shaded because it's based on a French comic book. So to maintain
Belgian,
that
actually.
Belgian, sorry, yes. I always say it about Tintin as well.
Well, it's written in French, but it's Belgian.
It's like what Hitler was in German, was he?
Always go back to Hitler.
Always go back to Hitler. Sorry, it's Twitter. I'm so into Twitter now. Because it was cel shaded to look like the old comic book stuff. And on the PS2, cel shaded stuff has just aged like, again, a fine wine. It looks glorious. It's really good. And it had such great stealth mechanics because to hear enemies behind walls, you saw the tapping sound their feet were making. You could hear it as well, but you could see it through the wall. You could see a little tap, 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 tap. So you knew somebody was behind that wall, so you could really easily, not easily, because it was a very difficult game, but you could you get a lot more stealth options, and it was brutal, and it was wonderful, and there was kind of nothing like it. It wasn't just because I think in that era, yeah, you got your time. So I argue that Black's fantastic from that era as well, but nobody played that either. But for a complete package, 13 was just an intriguing plot, beautiful visuals. It's everything you wanted. And it ended on a cliffhanger, which I hated so much. So much.
And then the remaster got rid of the cel shading, got rid of a lot of the style, got
Yeah.
rid of
It
a
looked
lot
like
of charm,
Fortnite. It looked very Fortnite-y.
and it was
It
buggy
got
and broken.
shiny, yeah. It got that toy shine.
Yeah.
And then the remaster,
Which is a
they
separate
sort of-
game, by the way. It's not a patch for the initial one. It's a new game.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't actually, it still wasn't cel shading.
Yeah.
It was like a weird Instagram filter over the original glossy Fortnite graphics.
Yeah.
And in some ways, some of the characters looked a tiny bit better, but the environment suddenly looked a lot worse because they were just so aggressively garish now.
Have you
Garish?
two seen? There's been this
Do we pronounce it garish or garish?
I pronounce it Garak.
Is that Britain? Is that British versus America, or am I just a dumbass? It could be either, really.
I think you're just a dumbass, John. That's you're around being a dumbass. That's what you are.
I think we're all about around that.
Wait.
We're all,
Let's get Google to pronounce it.
I think we're all dumbish.
Garish. My impression.
Garish.
Hey!
Garish. Garish.
Garish.
Sounds like
Is that your
Garish.
impression of the gentle reading man?
The fuck was that?
That's the reading woman. A bit slow.
Oh.
Garish.
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 Oh wait,
Garish.
wait, there's
Because
American
you're
pronunciation.
13 and your
Garish.
This is the American
garish
pronunciation.
visuals.
Garish.
Yeah, it's just garish.
Garish.
I do enjoy how many of those videos just seem to be wrong, though. People have just put together pronunciation guides that have no relation to reality.
Oh, I love
This is
those.
a Google. You know what I like though? The pronunciation, right? The only difference in the British and American pronunciation, it's specifically, you know how phonetically written out words.
Yes.
It's done that, and the only difference between those two phonetic spellings is that the G at the start, the G-E-H, in the British one it has a U in it. Very British to add a U into a word unnecessarily.
I will say though, that
No, that's the wrong way around. It's the Americans who take out the U's unnecessarily.
yeah, true. I will say though
Be
that
more U's.
we do now know that garish is closer to gare than garabout.